You talk about loading up a big uppercut, you know, with your boom, boom, with your like good footwork, boom, and using that to like disguise loading. I'm talking about like showing a guy, I'm gonna hit you, boom, in order to get the next thing that I want. But what they think is gonna happen is that I'm gonna go. It's not exactly the way fighting works. It's in there with flying attacks and spinning attacks that everyone thinks is so risky. They say, don't load up your punches or your kicks. Don't load up. Because you're not supposed to load up your attacks.
Well, if you display dominance, you can.
Let me do the thing. Right. If you display dominance, you can load up attacks. Shut up. No, if you load up your attacks, what we're talking about is, say I want to do our big, loading up a big leaping left hook. You know what I mean? The old gazelle punch, be it from out here, or the old ice pick where we go boom back behind that elbow. And people make fun of these attacks. And this is what's funny is they'll make fun of people doing this and say you shouldn't load up on your attacks. They'll comment that on videos of people knocking people out with said loaded up attack. You can load up your attacks. In fact, sometimes you should load up your attacks. When people say that it's like risky to load up your attacks, what they think is gonna happen is like what? He's gonna like throw a right hand and knock me out of the air, like I'm gonna punch you real hard, and it's gonna be like boom. That doesn't happen. When he sees this, he's only thinking about a couple things. He's thinking about covering up or he's thinking about moving away. The same can be said for like leg kicks. We've talked before about how it's okay to like load up big leg kicks. If we're out and maybe we've had some kind of exchange and maybe, I've backed up. If I get a running start like I'm playing a game of kickball and go like this, maybe you teep kick me out of the sky as I jump in. Boom! Yeah, right, maybe. Like the hypothetical things that like, if you load up, they'll see it coming and do this. That's not really how it works, because especially if I've leg kicked, boom, and he feels it, and we've made him respect it, the next big kick, right, he's gonna wanna address that. I go to chop, and maybe that's what I want. Maybe I want him to block it, so I go, bing, bang, bang, bang. Or maybe it's a fake, where I load it up real big, boom, bang. I'll link a leg kick trickery video up there where we showed that technique. But the idea that you can never load up your attacks, or you can never telegraph them, maybe I want him to see this coming. Ah! That's scary. That's a scary thing. Bang, bang. You can load up. You can spin. You can jump. You can even use your arm muscles to punch. They're not going to hit you out of the sky. Or maybe they will. Maybe they'll hit you out of the sky and you'll lose. We talked about the bolo punch recently, and the reason that it works is because I go like this, and while I'm loading, he covers up, and while I'm loading it up, maybe he gets the idea that he can peek. You know what I mean? Boom. And that's why that stuff works. And it's kind of a goofy thing, but it's just so crazy it might work. You know what I mean? We go boom, we load this guy up. Bah! Same thing here with our big leaping, and it doesn't have to be the leaping left hook or gazelle punch type thing. We can do it with an uppercut. You can throw a big loaded up uppercut. What is your priorities? So what are you saying? He's gonna sidestep at the exact right moment, and you sidestep out of the way, and then, you know what I mean? Yeah, maybe.
I just don't see it.
Well, especially if
unless you're predictable the whole fight.
Right. That's a good point. I'm not saying I can go. Yeah. So I'm not saying load up every attack. But I'm saying you can load up some attacks. That's the thing, is people think there's no loading up. There's no load. Dude, watch world champion fighters in slow-mo. They are like, loaded up all the way down from here. Now it was built into some sound fundamentals.
Yeah.
A tight guard, good head movement, and dangerous striking.
Yeah.
But they're loaded up. So Nate, if I told you I'm gonna fastball pitch an overhand haymaker as hard as I can at you, and you think, well, my jab is super fast, dude, right? Pump a jab out there, throw a jab out there. Okay, no, pump just a fast one. Boom, no, the fastest jab you got. Bah! Okay, that's pretty fast. All right, you ready? On 3, I'm going to swing this one as hard as I can. You pop that jab out there. You ready? You don't want to, right? He doesn't want to. Right? Now he knows it's coming, so he'd probably get me. But if I've touched him at all, boom, he's got to address that. But there needs to be some strategy. There needs to be some strategery to it. You can load up your kicks. You can load up your punches, right? As long as some of them are not loaded up. Anything done wrong is risky. But loading up's not risky. Spinning attacks aren't risky. Jumping attacks aren't risky. None of these are inherently riskier than any basic vanilla fundamental fighting techniques. Big loaded up knees are another one like you're forced to address. Yeah, you can throw yourself off balance and get swept, but you could just as easily use this big loaded up knee. Like if you know I'm about to throw this thing big, boom. He really gets nervous and has to address it. Then maybe that's an opportunity to unbalance him. And then I throw another big one, right? Now he should start working to get out of this, right? But if someone is going, right? It sort of makes the prospect of using your body to address the clinch, it makes you nervous to do that. Because as these big guys are coming in, so Nate is not supposed to put his hands down there to block these knees. But when they start coming in real big, right? It's hard. Right? It helps if you make a lot of noise. Yeah. Yeah. I think it's funny that guys will be like, you're not supposed to load up attacks unless it's a famous dude doing it. And then they're like, oh my God, he's so brutal. You know?
It's a freak of nature.
Right, it's because he's special. Now, there's some truth to that. I've said before, don't think that just because, you're not Francis Ngannou.
Yeah.